What's going on, everyone? This is an addition to the Q&A series. This is, if you watched my first one talking about what kind of boat you should get versus what kind of boat you should avoid. Now, if you've got a boat, the most other frequent question, there's like 4. But this is one of the bigger ones I get. This is maybe one of the most annoying questions I get. Not because you're annoying, but because I suck at thumb texting. And it's also a very residual question. Where do I start? I've got a boat now. What should I do with it? Where should I start? So that question would be like entirely too long for me to thumb text you. So I'm going to do it in one video. So assuming you did the research, you got the correct boat, it's an actual good boat to restore or convert, and there's not a whole lot of damage to it that you can visibly see. Where you should start, if it's an older boat, is you want to examine the transom. If it's an old boat, you want to start with the transom first, because if the transom is gone, like if it's toast, and you pull that thing out, because it's likely treated plywood. They use treated plywood all the way up until like the early to mid 2000s, I believe. Like a lot of boat companies did. It was common practice for a long time. So if that transom is shot, then right then and there, I know you already put investment into a boat or you already have a boat, but if that thing is done there was no more reason to do the boat. You're either gonna like look at it and figure out what you're gonna do, if you're gonna put the work in, if you're gonna re-rivet or re-weld a new piece of sheet metal onto that transom to make it a usable boat again, or if you're just gonna scrap the boat. Right then and there you will know. So always start with the transom, and once you have that taken care of, then you need to look at a subfloor. So the subfloor in and of itself, without any other additions, and this can be done without taking out any of the bench seats, a subfloor will improve your quality of like time on the boat exponentially. You won't be stepping on the ribs, you won't be stepping in water, you won't be slipping, you will keep dry. The ability to keep dry in a boat of any type, whether it's just a leisure recreational boat or anything, I mean, the addition of a subfloor is always nice to have. And plus, that'll be the foundation for anything that you're going to try and fabricate in or, you know, just add in. There's various types of subfloors. I have a subfloor tutorial section on my channel and also on our website, TBNation.net. Check that out. Step 3, there, after the transom and the subfloor are laid out, then it really is up to you what you can visibly put in there and what kind of fisherman you are. Are you like Fear the Guy with the One Rod fisherman, where you really don't need a whole lot of tackle? Because if you don't need a whole lot of tackle, don't make a whole lot of tackle storage. Like, just lay out a deck and maybe have like one little access compartment you need to have right there, and then do that. You know, but if you're a tackle junkie and you have to have a million things in that boat, all kinds of gear, because you need to be ready, I'm like right there. You know, that's why I have all these dry hatch systems and all these advanced storage systems, because that's the kind of fisherman that I am. I'm beyond the point where it needs to be basic. So, but that also know that takes exponentially longer than it does to just kit out a boat. Like really, a boat with just a basic deck and a basic subfloor, you can get that done in a weekend. When you're talking about making advanced hatches and lights and running all kinds of wires and accessories, that will take you months. That'll take you a long time. So that's where you need to find out. Like if you're going to start putting in rod lockers and you're going to start doing all those things, that means not only the frame is going to be more complex, your deck's going to be more complex. You're going to have to compensate for that, get all kinds of rod locker hinges, hatch hinges, you know, lockable latches or non-lock latches in general, whether they're pull or lockable or cam lever, whatever. You're going to have to, it gets exponentially more complicated the more hatches you make and the more advanced you make. So figure out what you're actually not only capable, you might be capable of doing these things. The bigger thing to understand is time in. How much time it takes you to build one of these things. Honestly, in a perfect world with nothing going wrong, it wouldn't take you terribly long. It's just that stuff always goes wrong. Like it's not like we're printing out one boat and there's a tried and true way of doing it with little to no recourse or reconfiguration. There's always constant reconfiguration. Remember that when you're doing this boat, you are more or less going to be like the hallmark for wherever that boat is. There's likely not a duplicate version of that boat. So you're going to be the first to actually kit out that boat. And so that's really figuring all kinds of time. All the extra time it takes, the extra months, is likely you staring at the boat, wondering what to do. Like, what do I do? Where do I go from here? That's gonna be a lot of the time in, is looking at it and just being like, And and then, waiting for the light bulb. And just this, I don't know that. Like, if you literally want a boat done in a month, but you have a full-time job and a family, and you need this boat done by like tournament season, which is in a month or a month and a half, like, be realistic with yourself. Don't make that boat very complicated. Put a deck on it, like maybe make a little makeshift storage hatch, turf it or carpet it, and then just call it done, and then that'll be a boat ready. But if you're gonna really make a complex boat, it takes, unless you're like full-time like myself doing it, or Nate, which is my partner out there in Illinois, you're not going to get that thing done anytime soon. It's going to take you forever. It's going to take you a long time. That's it for this video. The next video we're going to talk about is boat size and width. What makes stability? What makes a boat stable? I mean, that needs its own Q&A version in and of itself. We are going to be tackling that next, and then we'll be tackling how to seal rivets on the bottom for leaky hulls. We're going to talk about types of marine epoxy. We're going to be talking about some other questions that I get asked all the time. But this one was definitely one I wanted to address now for you. Okay, thank you. Whether you need information, tutorials, products, or simply connections to other tiny boaters around you, we have it all right here.